So I went dancing last night, and for those of you that don't know, that is a huge deal for me because I went through a health challenge back in 2019. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that caused paralysis in my legs and feet, and I wasn't able to walk unassisted, even stand at times, and I was told there was no cure. So I was told that I may never dance again. And so I love to dance. And I really don't do it very often, even though I'm so grateful that I can. So I did go out last night with my girlfriend and her husband and about 10 other couples, which I didn't know. And I didn't realize I was going to be the only single person there. But I went anyway. And I was so glad that I did because I had such a fun time dancing. And while we were there, my girlfriend said to me, Bonnie, what's a spiritual awakening? And my response caused her and her husband to go speechless. And I'm going to tell you what my response was. But it was really interesting because both of them, their mouths dropped. And she actually said, mic drop, because she saw her husband have a light bulb go off. And so my response was, it's when we become aware that we're not our mind. Because the thing is, we've all been conditioned to believe that we are our mind. As soon as a thought comes in, we don't question it. We automatically accept and believe it. And in fact, we're constantly receiving thoughts, right? Do you have a voice in your head, or is it just a constant thoughts going on that you're always in your head, right? Because that's what we do, we think. And yet, it's not really us that are thinking, because we are not the mind. We are something so far greater. And yet we've been brainwashed by the mind. The mind sounds so confident, right? The mind just tells us the way it is and we believe it. We have become a puppet to our mind. So everything that we have created in our life is because of the mind, because it's what the mind has created, not us. So let's get a little further into this. Our mind is constantly feeding us thoughts that we are believing as truth, which then causes us to making decisions based upon the thoughts that our mind is feeding us about whether we're good enough to do something, and how we feel about ourselves directly impacts the way we behave. Right? The way that we think about ourselves, whether we feel confident or insecure about something, whether we view ourselves through the lens of being enough, that causes us to raise our hand for those opportunities or to listen to the mind, talk ourselves out of it, and then not even try for something. It also affects the way that we attract partners or the way that we attract jobs. It literally creates the life that we have, because the way that our mind is feeding us thoughts causes us to believe that is truth, and that then dictates how we're feeling and the actions we're taking. Basically, it creates who we're being in our life. Our mind is creating our personality. It's creating whether we smile or frown. It's creating whether we view something or someone with an open heart or through the eyes of judgment. It's all based upon what the mind is feeding us. And most of the time, it's feeding us judgment or skepticism or fear, fearful thoughts. You know, there's so many different aspects of fear that the mind, or I should say the ego is that part of our mind that identifies with form. So our ego is the thing that's making us think that we are our mind and is constantly feeding us the thoughts that are keeping us living in the past. So every time we see something or hear something or smell something, it reminds us of something from the past, if we've experienced it before. And then based upon that past experience, we're expecting the same thing to happen again. We have the same interpretation of that thing because of our past experience. But each experience can be a totally different one than the time before it. But when we're expecting it to be the same, then we are reacting to it as though it was that way already. So by us reacting to it In that way, we're creating more of the same of the past. So that's why we wind up getting stuck in a loop. It's because we've become a puppet to the mind. So a spiritual awakening is when we take our power back from the mind. When we decide that I'm not letting my conditioned program run the show anymore. Now, let's talk about the conditioned program and where that comes from. Where do we get the beliefs that our mind is feeding us from? It's in our subconscious mind, from the conditioning that we have taken away from all of our past experiences, from our family upbringing, from our dynamics in our family, or from the beliefs and values that we were raised in. We also have ancestral programming that was in our blood before we were even born that impacts us and the way that we see the world. So there's so many other things are affecting who we're being in our life and how we're viewing everything. The way that we view everything, our perspective, is what determines our reality. That's what creates our life. Because as we just said, our perspective that we're taking from everything that's happening in our life is causing us to then feel a certain way and act a certain way, react to that situation based upon how we're feeling about it or what it means to us. And most times when we're viewing something that triggers us or that causes us to feel bad, that causes us to feel hurt or rejected or excluded or unappreciated or disrespected, all of those things are based upon what our mind is feeding us. So when we disidentify from the mind, and instead of automatically believing everything the mind is feeding us, take our power back, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, then we can create a totally new reality because we are changing who we are being. We're no longer believing everything from our past and the way that we interpreted it and the meaning that we took from it, causing our beliefs. We're no longer believing that anymore to be the truth. We're now stepping into who we really are, which is not the mind. It is our true essence, which is consciousness. We are the consciousness in human form, experiencing life. And the primary purpose of us being here is to discover that we are not our mind and connect to who we really are. Because when we do that, that's when everything changes. That's when we can create a totally new reality for ourselves. That's when we heal our bodies, which is how I healed my body. And now I'm completely functional the way that I was before. And everyone has the power to do this, to heal themselves, to overcome challenges in their life, because that's really what challenges are here for, are to cause us to go within and discover who we really are. But you don't have to be going through a challenge in order to have a spiritual awakening. And that's why I'm sharing this message for you, is because if you want to create something totally new and different in your life and create a new earth as well, a more loving and peaceful world, this is all part of it. Because when each person makes it their conscious commitment to awaken and disidentify from the mind and become who they really are, who they came here to be, then everything changes. That is the greatest gift you can give yourself. So I'm going to show you now how to take your power back from the mind and to practice doing this as much as you possibly can. In fact, the best time to practice is always. The easiest time to remember to practice this is when you're feeling triggered, is when you're feeling any low vibration emotion, when you're feeling anxious or fearful or worried or stressed or rejected or not good enough, or when your guilt is getting the best of you, or resentment or blame. Any of these emotions that don't feel good, those are your alarm systems, because we came here to feel good, right? Of course, things are going to happen in life that cause us sadness, and that's part of this life experience. So there's nothing to judge and there's nothing to resist, because we came here to feel it all. However, when we are reacting to a situation that's happening in our life that's causing us to feel like it's personal about us, like we weren't chosen for something, or anything that someone might say or do that causes us to feel hurt or less than in some way, or judged in some way, all of that is our greatest opportunity to awaken. Once you start feeling, and again, you can do it anytime, but I'm saying this so that you can start to practice each time you are feeling like you're suffering, because basically that's what it is. You're suffering when you're feeling those kinds of low vibration emotions because they don't feel good, right? Feeling angry doesn't feel good. So when you're feeling that way, by using your breath to put your attention on, which of course our attention is our greatest asset, because where we place our attention is where we place our energy. So we're going to place our attention on our breath. And we're just going to simply take a deep, slow inhale in, and keeping our attention on the breath as we're breathing in is bringing our attention to the present moment. We're no longer caught up in the mind. We're no longer paying attention to all the thoughts that are being streamed about everything. There's a constant narration going on in the mind. We're no longer giving that our attention. Instead, we're putting all of our attention on the breath, and we're envisioning, you can envision the breath being, let's say, a color or a texture, and you can close your eyes and just put your attention on the breath, feeling through your senses, feeling your breath going in through the nose, feeling, is the air cool or warm? How does it feel as it starts to enter your throat? Can you imagine if it's going deep enough to go into your belly? How does your body feel as you're taking in that inhale? Is your chest rising? Is your belly rising? And how does your body feel as you exhale? Are you noticing any tension subsiding? Are you noticing your body relaxing? So this is all being present, bringing your attention to the present moment, using your breath is the way to take your power back from the mind. And the more that you practice that, the more that you are actually living your life, the more that you're here for your life. Because when you're in your mind, you're not really present. You're not really experiencing the here and now. You're experiencing it through the filter of the mind instead of experiencing it fully yourself. And the present moment is the only place where miracles happen. And that's where we can connect. That's where we start to discover our power and who we really are, and the fact that we are all one. The fact that we are all connected, regardless of our differences. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, please do subscribe and like this video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts or your takeaways from it. And if you are interested in working together in order to raise your consciousness and become more present in your life so that you can be the one running the show and creating something new in your life, then I'm going to share my link below to my Facebook page where you can message me, or you can send me an email. I'll share that as well as my website where you can see some of my offerings. Okay, everyone, stay present and stay well. Mwah. Sending love.